it was kind of a quick thing. And when I woke up, I was kind of like, okay, so what happened? And nobody could really tell me because everybody was kind of at shock at that point. So very weird accident.
First responder Dina Soikanen from Minnesota is bringing awareness to the dangers of dunk tanks after a recent accident.
I was the ambulance director. It was part of the 4th of July celebration in the area where we live. Chief of police had gone in first and he was done with his. So then they contacted me, Dina, get over here, it's your turn. And I think I'd been dunked twice and it wasn't dunking correctly. So they said, hey, can you move back a little bit? And as I moved back, the seat started to come upwards. And as it came upward, it threw me out the back. And I went down and hit the hard grass, so it's pretty hard. As I hit the ground, first it was a big thing of pain, it hurt real bad, and then I couldn't feel my legs. So I knew at that point. One of my ambulances was on scene, and I said, hey, you need to call for ALS and you need to call for LifeLink because I can't feel my legs. And then everything went crazy after that. They had the IVs in place. They had me in what's called a KED board because my legs wouldn't allow me to lay flat. They were kind of stuck in the air. It was weird.
At the hospital, doctors assessed her injuries.
I was so alert and stuff, they thought nothing was really wrong. So they were like, well, we'll probably do surgery later today or tomorrow. We're going to put you in the CT now. As I got out of the CT, they said, things have changed. They're going to have surgery right now. They fused together T11 to L1, pulled out all the debris, and did more scans. And that's where they found out that my injury, what's called completed, which means it's severed the spinal cord. When I hit the ground, I burst my T12, and that caused my spinal cord to sever.
Dina was paralyzed from the waist down.
It was shock for a while. It was days of thinking, okay, so what does this mean? And then as I became clearer, I came to the conclusion that, well, I can sit here and cry, or I can deal with it, make things better, and live the best life that I can live. And that's the decision that I made. I have days that are crappy. I have days where I'm like, this sucks. But for the most part, I want to show my grandchildren, my children, my community that it's okay. We don't have to have perfection. We can still live good lives. And that's what I'm choosing to do.
With that mindset, Dina's recovery began.
I was in ICU for 2 weeks. Then they moved me over to the rehab department. And I remember the first time they sat me on that rehab table and they said, okay, just balance yourself. And I went right backwards. And that's when I realized that, this is tough stuff. So it was kind of like, okay, another mindset. I'm either going to work my butt off or I'm going to sit here now and whine because I had trouble balancing myself. So then I started working hard. And what usually takes 3 to 4 months of rehab took me 1 month. So I was pretty proud. So I'm working on my core strength now as well as my upper body. That's what I need to move myself around. So I said, I'm going to have guns. They're going to be, 60-year-old guns, but they'll be guns.
Dina is learning to navigate life in a new way.
I never understood what it really meant to be a paraplegic. In your mind, you're like, okay, you can't use your legs anymore. It's more than that. It is so many things. It's having to learn things over. It's your bladder becomes something called neurogenic, which means at that point you have to cath in order to use the restroom. So 4 times a day I have to straight cath so I can go to the bathroom. It's learning to use the restroom the other direction as well. You have to retrain your body. Learning to get redressed, putting on socks, brushing your teeth when you don't have a sink that you can reach. So you're learning to use other items to brush your teeth, to spit into and stuff. And it's just, everything is a new way of life.
Dina's support system is making life easier.
I have a large family. My husband has a large family. They just all showed up and were there for us. And it feels good. It makes you understand that, all the more that family, community, that's what's important. Even my 8-year-old grandson loves to take Grammy for rides in her wheelchair.
Her husband has built her a ramp to help her get around their home.
I have an amazing husband. We've been married 40 years. He knew that he had to have certain things set up for me to come home. So we live on a hill that has ledge rocks. So he had to build the ramp around that. And so my ramp is 59 feet. It's very pretty. That was his labor of love. That was his last thing to get me home.
Loved ones are raising money so Dina can live in a house that's more accessible.
We live in a house right now that is an older house, and it's a 2-story. So my bed's in the living room, and I can go into 3 places in my house, and that's it. So it would be nice to have something that works for me.
Because of her career, Dina has always taken care of others. Now she's adjusting to things being the other way around.
So it's not that it's hard, it's just different. You have to, I guess in my opinion, let them care for you. And that was the hardest thing for me, is I'd always been the one that went out and took care of others. And now, I let people help me back. And it's a new normal again.
As she continues to heal, Dina is focused on remaining optimistic.
The biggest thing you have to remember is you are the only person that can play your role in this world. And your roles change, but you're still that only person. The world keeps turning. If you stop turning with the world, you've lost out. If you realize that it's going to be okay and you move forward, now you're keeping up. You can sit there and you get time to grieve. Everybody gets to grieve. But when that grieving turns into years and years, you're not going to grow. You're not going to get better. So you have to start reminding yourself that life isn't perfect. We weren't promised that life would be easy, but we were promised life, and it's how we live it.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Andrea Swindle.